So that's definitely not how you want to start an introduction to this video, but that's exactly what happened at the last round of LRRS racing. It was round 5 in August. That is my 3rd round this season. I've missed 2, and basically crashing happened, and it happened again. But round 5, it was more organized, since me and Chris were able to get a footing in better after coming back from 2 months away, 2 rounds away. We met up with Pedro and you know, did the usual team stuff Friday night. Saturday morning we woke up, it was a little bit wet out, still damp from rain. Before it rained pretty hard all night, so in the morning I just had DOTs and went out, putted around, get used to the bike. This is coming off of a really bad round 4. It was awful round, just in the dumps mentally with the riding. So I was really hoping that this round would be a lot better, just, you know, have more fun riding and enjoy it more than I did the round before. Hey guys, I only had, the other race for that day was the middleweight GP, or middleweight Grand Prix. That one recorded, the video was good. GoPro didn't mess up. I don't know, some always little snafu happens when I'm recording these races. But I started towards the back, as always, low in the points, so it gave me a little bit of incentive to try to make moves in the first lap or 2. And the lights went on, lights went off, launch was good, it was decent. I ended up coming in behind Pedro, but I saw Pedro make contact with another rider in front of him, which forced him out wide, and me being so close on his tail, I wasn't able to make turn 1, and neither was he. So I saw him run off into the NASCAR turn 1, and then I looked around and I saw another rider go off as well, and we both, all 3 of us, had to stop at the end of NASCAR turn 2 to wait and see when it was safe to rejoin. And when we finally did rejoin, Pedro went first, the other rider, then myself. I was basically dead last, which kind of sucked, but you know, now it gave me more incentive to pick off some of the other guys, and I can see them just trailing off in the distance. But I did put my head down, did some riding, just focus on whoever was in front of me. I made a couple of passes on some of the guys. I think one going into 11. I did pass Tom pretty close on the front straight. He left a little bit of a gap between himself and the wall. And when I was coming, I was just riding angry, and I thought nothing. I was like, right, whatever, this old gap there, and I'm just gonna go through that gap because it's gonna take too much more to go on his inside. I'd rather just pass him through on the outside. And I underestimated that gap, but fortunately I made it through fine. He wasn't too spooked about it. I talked to him a little bit after, but yeah, in hindsight I should have just passed on the left. But you know, when you're racing, you just try not to get the red miss, but I got the red miss, and I was just in it, just gotta make sure that it was a safe pass. But at least that was that. I hunted down a couple other guys. I made the same pass, unfortunately, on another guy, but we left on another guy on the front straight, but I left him a little bit of more room, so it was a little bit better. I think one of the other ones I made was I caught up to one of the other guys down the bowl in 9. I mean, not the bowl, down the hill in 9. It was just either get late on the brakes or just really hold the gas open. And I tipped it in on the inside and made it stuck to that corner. That's probably one of the few times I've done it in the dry, and it's just a nice place to pass. If you have it, you can pass there and you can make it safe. I would do it, but you know, sometimes going down the hill in 9 gets hairy enough as we do the flick to 10. And then the last guy in that race, I think it was Dustin. I can't remember. I'm hoping that that's his name. Normally you remember the numbers and never the name. But yeah, it was Dustin, and you know, I was just gaining on him, took a couple of laps to catch up to him. But I did finally make a move going into 3. We were going in hot, but I just held it a little bit wider on the throttle, and then just a little bit later on the brakes. And then after that, it was smooth sailing until the last 2 laps. that race was a lot of fun despite the really horrible start. I think I did somewhere maybe the 22s, 21s, which sucks, but you know, just gotta get back on there. I think race 9, we all gridded up, and I was finally feeling comfortable on the bike, feeling good. And you know, we lined up. I bought fresh tires, so I scrubbed them in on the pit out, and then you know, lights go on, lights go off. I launched, did a pretty bad one, came up really slow on that launch. And as I was coming up on everybody else in turn 1, I see a bike just spinning circles on the front straight, and I'm like, no, like, we're at full speed, we're trying to tip in for this one corner, and then you just automatically try to look for the rider so you don't run them over. And I'm looking around, I just see the bike, I don't know where the guy is. In front of me there was the guy at turn 1, the flagger, and then a wall behind him. There was Joe's to my right, and there was a gap there, and I figured if I can just go fast enough and make it through this little gap, and then I can go to the left on the inside of everybody else, I can avoid it all, right? But I was creeping up, and then I think Joe had the same idea, just to go left and avoid it too. And in our efforts to avoid a crash, we created one ourselves by basically just touching, and then at that point I knew the bike was going to go down just because of how fast we were going. We both went down. Unfortunately, I just see the bike skidding away. My helmet actually hit the ground on this side, and I felt just dazed, super dazed. Once I finally came to a stop from rolling, I got up, I looked at Joe, I looked at the bike, I looked back at Joe, and I just shouted, "Man, are you okay? Are you good?" Like, you know, just all that blood pumping through your veins, all that adrenaline. I was seeing stars for sure, but I also wanted to make sure I didn't break the right collarbone, because I've already broken the left collarbone. So I was just doing the chicken dance. I looked at him, I was like, are your arms okay? Do it. And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. I was like, do the chicken dance, move your arms around, make sure that they're okay. You know, you probably shouldn't do that either, because if your body goes into shock, like, it's gonna really suck. But check, I made sure we both check ourselves, and I looked back, and there was the other rider, I think it was Brian. His bike was in the middle of the NASCAR bowl. I saw my bike, Joe saw his bike. The marshals came running over, told us to grab all bikes and move them off to the side, which we did. And then at that point, like, I caught my breath, just let everything process in my brain, and I was just hurt. My hip was killing me. My gear held up well, the suit held up well, the helmet did its job. I was conscious the entire time. But in the midst of crashing on the right hand side, apparently I kicked my shift rod, because when I went to go start the bike up, it was stuck in first gear, and the shift rod was already snapped. So we were just using our hands to get it to shift at the actuator. So we got the bike back to the pits, and I think I was basically done. I was done race. I had one more race later that afternoon, but I just did not want to get everything put back. And you know, like, that's usually, unfortunately, that's how I am. If I crash or something bad happens, I just say, whatever, I'm done. But fortunately enough for me, I have teammates and friends that support it. So we got together, we found another shift rod, we made everything work again. We got the bike up and running, we started it and fired right back up. So I was like, you know what, you're right, I'm just gonna go back out there. And that's a lesson learned, that even if you are unwilling to go or just down because something bad happens, if you have good people around you that motivate you to ride like that, like, you'd be surprised at how fast your mood can change. And I was very happy to just get back out there, even though I was a little bit sore, but it was very nice just to have friends that are willing to lend a hand, especially when you need it. It was definitely a team effort for sure. So it goes on to race 13. It was, I think, amateur unlimited superbike. It's probably one of my more favorite race, because there's no experts in front of us just to destroy us. So I always look forward to that one for sure. But this time I get to race with Chris, and we didn't get to do that last round. He's still in knob, but I just enjoy riding with him anytime we get to ride on track. It's fun. So we go out and pit out. We pit out, we do our warm-up lap, and as we're doing our warm-up lap, I realized we did not adjust the shift rod. So now here's my foot peg, and basically the shift rod sat up here. So anytime I wanted to shift, I would physically have to bring my leg up and stomp down on the gear shift. Now if you think about it, street riding, that's fine, whatever, you're not really going that fast. But when you're trying to bang down the gears on the front straight to upshift, it is a nuisance to have to lift your feet up and make sure you've got the right gear. And it's even worse because it's so high up. Now when I try to bang a downshift, I can't tell whether or not my foot actually hit it, because everything on the bike just happens so fast. In your mind it's so slow, but the motions are so quick that I just couldn't think whether or not it downshifted. So after about a lap of it, somebody in the novice class binned it. He walked away from a dump in turn 3, so they restarted the race. We were on the grid for about 10 minutes, which was okay, but we restarted, and I had a horrible start the last time out anyway. So this one, I figured that the shift rod's gonna be the way it is. Now I at least know how to ride this thing the way that it was. So off the line, I managed to get into second position, following Danny. Dude is quick on a carbureted R6. No fear of this kid, no fear. And I do like his cowboy boots. So followed him, just seeing the way he rode into turn 3, and as I was watching him, somebody came up on the inside and couldn't do anything about it, let him go. Held on to third position for a lap until we were on the straight or somewhere in turn 3 again, and I got passed by another guy in Nate. And after that, I just rode the race for a couple laps until somebody, I believe somebody crashed again into turn 3, another novice, but this time they red flagged it, and I just went in after that. Shifter wasn't really copacetic. I wasn't really feeling that one, but it was just good to know for that one particular race that I had buddies that just help out and get me going again. So I was very happy for that. So the round overall, it wasn't a success. I just got back to the pace that I was riding at last year before my crash, and then subsequent lack of seat time. So yeah, man, that's my race 5. Well, not my round 5 race report, and I hope these are a little bit better than just reading text at work, because I do that a lot for my job and it gets boring. So hopefully you guys got some entertainment out of this, and my voiceover commentary from the races wasn't too bad. The next round is in September. It will be round 6. There's 2 left for the season, and then this weekend I'm actually gonna go up to Canaan, New Hampshire, to the Canaan Speedway, Canaan Fair Speedway, one or the other, but it's going to be a new track to me. It's about 2 hours away from my house. I'm going to go up there and ride with the Penguin crew. They're going to have Nesba race up there. Last I heard, I think there's going to be 12 teams during the team challenge, which is kind of ridiculous. That's a lot of teams, and hopefully it's going to be a good turnout. So I'll do a video on that, on riding a new track and doing a Penguin class, hopefully. So stay tuned, and I will try to keep it rubber side down, shiny side up. I'll see you guys later.